Pisces, Pisces rising. Welcome to your monthly forecast for January 2025. It's a brand new year and a brand new start, and new changes are on the way, especially concerning you, which I'm going to get straight into. So as soon as we kick off January, on the second day, January the 2nd, we have the planet of love and relationships moving into your sign. So that's quite a nice energy. Venus in Pisces is really happy. So we're definitely going to be feeling this joy. We're going to be feeling this romantic energy in the air. We're going to be feeling very just concerned with relationships and just being so immersed into them. Now, we are going to have Venus retrograde occur, so that's going to be something to really get into, but let's just take it step by step. In January, as soon as we kick off the month, we have this beautiful Venus energy, Venus moving into your sign. So this is also a time where you can be very highly creative, so enjoy it as much as you can. For some of you, that Venus retrograde will impact when we get to that, because that's going to, get there eventually. You might feel some issues or tensions coming up, usually with Venus retrograde, depending on who it's impacting. It doesn't impact every single person or every single sign, but depending on everyone's individual unique chart, those that get impacted by it, you'll start to see certain issues or themes come up to the surface before Venus even goes retrograde, and then you kind of have to navigate through it through the retrograde period. But for the beginning of January, let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy the beauty of Venus in Pisces. Now, this will be moving into your first house. This, of course, varies on everyone's chart. I'm working with a whole sign house system for this horoscope. So when Venus is in the first house, there can also be a lot of concern regarding beauty and how you dress up, how you express yourself. So that's all kind of like, I guess you could say, the surface level stuff, but we're going to get even more deeper and intenser because we're going to have the North Node moving into your sign. The 11th of January, we're going to have the North Node, which is our destiny point, what energy we need to move into, and how the universe will orchestrate certain situations and scenarios so that we do meet our destiny, so that we do walk on that destined path. When it's in Pisces, for me, when I look at it from a very spiritual, esoteric point of view, this is ascension. This is the path of really walking on that ascension timeline. And definitely collectively everyone, well, I can't speak for everyone, but the majority of people, especially the starseeds and those that are extremely sensitive to energy and are very spiritual and are on that divine path, when it comes to your spiritual abilities, a dream time, when it comes to intuitive guidance and even just channeling your creativity. Pisces is the last sign. Pisces is the 12th house. It's the divine, it's source, it's other realms. That is going to be just so much heightened. And for you especially, you're definitely going to be going through many life changes. If we're looking at it from the whole sign house system, this falls into your first house. This may even fall on your ascendant. Or even, again, depending on the house system, your 12th house. So your spiritual path, your spiritual creative abilities, your connection with the universe, source, divine, whatever your belief systems are, your life path, that is going to be so important and really making waves. You see what I did there? Waves, because Pisces is a water sign. And then opposite to the North Node is a South Node, which is going to be in Virgo in your 7th house. So that is also really working through a lot of relationship karma. The South Node is it's past situations. Being in your 7th house, it's one-to-one intimate relationships, marriages. It's the soulmate energy, but really navigating through the karma. And that's not always as pleasant. It's the Tower card. Often when we're in very intense relationships, we can almost be so attached that we don't realize that we have an attachment issue, and we become codependent, and we place our happiness and our joy in the hands of someone else. And the moment you do that, you are taking your life and putting it in someone else's hands, and that's just not it. You have to weigh out the pros and the cons, and you have to remove those rose-tinted glasses. You have to look at everything for exactly what it is. So, the North Node in your sign, this is about you, the path you're on, this very strong spiritual journey that you are on. And there are definitely going to be choices to make. There's definitely going to be situations and opportunities coming up so that you can be on your sacred path. And that's different and unique to every single person. So that's exciting. That is so special and magical. So I'm so excited for this transit. Okay, now let's move on to what else is in store for you this month. So we also have a lot of 5th house energy, because we're going to have Mars which is in retrograde, but it's going to move from Leo into Cancer. That's going to be impacting your 5th house. This has to do with your inner child. It has to do with your creativity. It has to do with what brings you joy and pleasure. On the other hand, it also has to do with romantic relationships. So that's something perhaps you're navigating through. And then we also have a full moon in Cancer, which is going to be conjunct Mars. It's going to be conjunct Mars, a sun in Capricorn. We have Pluto in Aquarius. When it comes to your inner child, when it comes to your self-expression, when it comes to your creativity, when it comes to your joy, when it also comes to relationships, as well as your vision for the future, your hopes and wishes for the future, community, groups, friendships, they're going to be very profound. And you got to be careful that you don't get into like an ego battle with somebody, or there's like confrontation. Although sometimes it's very difficult to avoid during like full moons, especially when you have Mars and Pluto in an opposition. Even though it's like a weak opposition, nonetheless, they're very alpha strong energy. So you got to be very cautious of that. Any type of shadows or darker traits, negative traits that come up, use that Cancerian energy to dive deeper into them, understand them, nurture them, love on them, and let them go and release them. Okay, this is a time where anything that is not serving you, anything that has been just lingering around that needs to be addressed will come up. And for you, it's in your 5th and 11th house axis. But of course, depending on your chart and the house system you work with, look at your charts. Now let's move into Mercury. Now, Mercury is going to be changing signs twice this month. It is moving so fast after the retrograde. So Mercury will be moving into Capricorn only for a very short while, and that will be on January the 8th. So again, the 2nd week of January, and it's going to be in your 11th house. So there's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of engagement when it comes to friends, groups, social networks, just like your vision for the future. That's going to be a very active, energetic area of life, and due to it being very active and energetic, and then when we're going to approach the full moon on January the 13th, that could cause some type of conflict or some type of situation that needs to be resolved, because that full moon in Cancer with Mars and Pluto in an opposition, that is a little chaotic. So again, this is a time where you've got to be a little careful, because things can brew up, and there could be some words that are said that lead to some sort of situation on January the 13th. Although that doesn't mean it's going to manifest for everyone. That's just a very typical, obvious interpretation, manifestation. And then we're also going to have Mercury that moves into Aquarius on January the 27th, which will move into your 12th house. You already have a lot of energy in your 12th house. Like I just said, Pluto is in your 12th house. The sun is in your 12th house. This is your creativity. This is your sanctuary as well. This is your spirituality. This is home. This is where you find the divine. So you may find yourself in the later half, or just like the end of January, really like going into your cave and being a little more just with yourself and being in your own world. Although you're a Pisces dominant, so you're always like that anyways, but you're definitely going to feel that energy more strongly during this time. And creative writing is going to be absolutely just so amazing for you during this time, because when Mercury's in the 12th house and you got the sun there and the Pluto, you can definitely work through a lot of like shadows, just through writing, just through expressing yourself. So that is a great addition to this transit. Now let's move on and have a look at the new moon in Aquarius. Like I said, you have a lot of 12th house energy because the sun is also going to be there in your 12th house. It's going to move from your 11th house into your 12th house on January the 19th. And then January the 29th, we have a new moon in Aquarius. And I really like this new moon in Aquarius. It has a lot of beautiful energy. I mean, some people may not think Pluto and the new moon together is quite beautiful, but being Pluto Dom, I just love it. I just love it because I know how to work with it just so beautifully, so I love it. But if you look at the other transits that are occurring, or just the other configurations as well, we have the North Node, Venus together, Neptune, we're going to have Jupiter in Gemini trining the new moon, so new moons are all about new beginnings, a fresh beginning, a new start, new opportunities, new changes can occur during this time, and that can work quite well for you, especially because you have the North Node in your first house, especially because you have Venus in your first house. Yes, you also have Saturn there, let's not forget that, but we also have Neptune there, so we have some beautiful energy. Yes, Saturn is keeping you grounded and making you aware of reality, but ultimately, this just looks like a beautiful new moon, so you can definitely expect changes when it comes to your identity, when it comes to your creativity, the path that you're on, even your goals. The first house has to do with goals as well, and it can really just work out so well for you with this Piscean energy. Then last but not least, January the 30th, we have Uranus going direct in Taurus. It's been in retrograde for a while. I don't know why I've left the retrograde symbol on the screen, but it's going to be going direct on January the 30th in your third house. So you're going to feel a push forward in this area of life. And Uranus is also going to change signs this year. So it's really going to push you to make some changes in this area of life when it comes to travel, when it comes to even community, how you think, communication. So really work with it and make the most out of it. So Pisces rising, I hope you enjoyed your forecast for January 2025. Got to get used to that. I hope you have an incredible month ahead. Wishing you all the best, and I will speak with you very soon. Lots of love.